I always thought I was just an ordinary college girl, flat in every way except maybe my chest. But lately, weird things kept happening around me. No matter what part-time job I took, these guys in black suits, looking like bodyguards, would show up with a thick envelope stuffed with cash, telling me that kind of work was too embarrassing and I should quit right away after taking the money. At first, I was super cautious, feeling all tense and anxious like I might pee my pants from nerves when I accepted it. But after it happened a bunch of times, I got bolder, even purposely lining up 5 or 6 gigs in a day, and the envelopes just kept piling up. In just half a month, I'd raked in nearly 500,000 bucks. That day, I was hanging out in front of the convenience store where I was working part-time, waiting for the black-suited dudes to deliver the cash. This woman with heavy makeup walked by, staring at me with wide eyes like she recognized me as some celebrity. I started feeling secretly thrilled, but then she spat out a curse, calling me that lousy stand-in who'd been causing trouble lately. She accused me of deliberately looking like that to climb into her brother's bed or something. After hearing the whole story, I realized she was right to spit. Turns out, the guy sending me all this money was Xavier Knight, the ultimate heir from the top-tier elite circle, a total campus heartthrob at our school. Tall, handsome, the kind everyone, guys and girls, fantasized about sleeping with. But he was so icy cold, he never talked to girls, and if any girl managed a single word with him, it'd be worshipped on the forums for 3 months straight. He had this white moonlight girl who'd gone abroad, named Stella Alonso, and apparently I looked about 80% like her, especially when I was all dressed up and poised. My 3 roommates freaked out when they found out, screaming that Xavier had put out word he was looking for a stand-in for his white moonlight, offering $2 million a month. They said I'd hit the jackpot, getting to sleep with the billionaire CEO heir and rake in cash, pure envy material. They weren't wrong about the offer. That very night, the black-suited bodyguards showed up at my dorm, blocking my way and saying their boss, the possessive alpha male Xavier, wanted to see me and I should get in the car. Instead, I turned the tables, asking how much they made a month, threatening to tell Xavier they'd tried to molest me if they didn't spill. They caved in fear, admitting they were his personal guards, pulling in $1.5 million monthly. That got me thinking, being a stand-in for his white moonlight only paid $2 million, but it'd mean sleeping with him, serving his every whim, reading his moods, and if the grumpy sunshine guy got pissed, that money could vanish, leaving me groveling. It sounded exhausting and insecure. I decided to gamble big. Grabbing all the envelopes I'd collected, I smashed them into the bodyguard's face, telling him to go back to Xavier Knight and say I, Anastasia Steele, Anna for short, wouldn't take his handouts and he could shove his stinking money. With red eyes and fake tears streaming, though the pain was real because damn, that was 500 grand. I rushed back to the dorm looking devastated. But like the old saying, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. After ditching the cash, the next night I deliberately applied for a job as a hostess at a high-end KTV club, the kind where elite second-gen rich kids hung out, all lapdogs to Xavier the mafia boss-like figure. Sure enough, when I showed up in the VIP room, their faces went pale with shock. They didn't dare pick me, instead scrambling to text and call in reports. Half an hour later, I got summoned to the top-tier suite. Stepping in, I saw a tall figure lounging on the sofa, legs crossed, his sharp profile cutting through the dim light. This had to be the infamous Xavier Knight, the obsessive alpha male billionaire CEO. I cleared my throat and put on a flirty vibe, introducing myself as number 37, ready to serve. He shot up, growling that a name like that wasn't for someone like me to use. His long legs carried him right up to me, slender fingers gripping my jaw hard. Up close, his face was all high-bridged nose, deep eyes, sharp features. A dangerous, intense look that screamed trouble. But I knew he was barely 20, unlike me who'd grown up in the sticks, working the fields by 7 and maturing fast. Guys like Xavier, born with silver spoons, hadn't been hammered by life yet. They stayed immature till 30. He warned me never to use her face for stuff like this, not to tarnish her image, hinting at dire consequences. I slapped his hand away, questioning how he knew this was tarnishing. Maybe she liked it too. His thick brows furrowed, and he scoffed at the idea of her doing hostess work. I shot back that nothing's absolute, asking if he really knew her, because if he did, he'd have won her over already. Why hadn't he? He went silent. Arms crossed, I pointed out we looked alike, sharing genes and ancestors, so I knew her better than him. He stared coldly, but I stared right back, saying glaring at me was like glaring at her. How could he claim to like her? He pursed his thin lips, then averted his eyes, his voice calm as he suggested we leave and talk elsewhere since I claimed to know her so well. I refused to budge, saying I had to work for money to live, just like his white moonlight hustling abroad for survival. 5 minutes later, Xavier transferred $5 million to me, marked as a voluntary gift. See, a stand-in gig only paid $2 million a month, but I doubled it in one night. Opportunities go to the bold. I wasn't totally scamming him. I did my homework on Stella. Posing as a bird's nest seller, I added her on socials and saw she was vain, loved luxury, but hid her designer hauls from Xavier. I figured out why he hadn't won her in her eyes. She was this pure girl who hated vulgar money, so he never spent on her. But she kept him as a backup. After all, he was rich and hot as a possessive husband. I felt a twinge of sympathy for Xavier, so I ramped up showing my greedy side. Every time the dominant alpha male sought me out, I'd demand big bucks, 500 grand to meet, $1 million for chats over 3 hours, 5 mil to switch jobs. He was loaded but no fool. Sometimes he'd frown, staring hard and calling me Anna, a ruthless con artist. My heart skipped, but I countered that with my looks. I couldn't be weak, asking if he thought his white moonlight was weak. He pondered and said, yeah, pretty fragile, always coughing delicately. I couldn't stand it, pulling up her socials to show her clubbing all night, perched on guys' laps. Xavier's face darkened as he watched, smashing my phone and insisting it was photoshopped. She'd never sit on a man's lap. Furious, I plopped right onto his lap, arms around his neck, proving I could, so she could too. He stiffened, his sexy collarbone tensing under his shirt into a V shape, making me swallow hard. Damn, such a juicy, gold-armed hottie. How could Stella not cherish him? He growled for me to get off, his Adam's apple bobbing, voice husky, warning me not to push him to ruin me. I leaned in close, lips brushing his neck, feeling his handsome face flush. With a mischievous spark, I blew softly into his ear, expecting him to throw cash and tell me to scram. Instead, his hand cupped the back of my head, something cool pressing to my lips. It took 10 seconds to realize it was Xavier's lips on mine. My heart raced, mind blanking on whether to deepen it or pull back. Blame my money focus. 19 years old, and this was my first real makeout with a guy. After hesitating, I licked his lip in return. He went rigid, pulling back sharply, raging that I couldn't use her face to lick men like that. My eyes dropped, spotting the bulge in his pants. He noticed too, gritting his teeth and glaring as his face shifted shades. He grabbed his jacket to cover, but I snapped a pic first. As he lunged for my phone, I taunted that his body was honest despite his words, threatening to send it to her and ask if she thought he measured up. I yelled loud. Arguments are about volume, after all. Xavier's face went pitch black, words ground out through clenched teeth, demanding what I meant by not measuring up. I held up my pinky finger. He exploded, all that billionaire CEO rage making him even hotter, turning me on like crazy. He accused me of being blind, demanding I look again clearly. His big hand pushed my head down, but I countered by grabbing his, saying as a girl who'd never had a boyfriend, seeing that would scar me mentally. He stared hard, then without thinking, transferred $2 million on the spot. Right after the fraud center called, he hung up coldly, saying continue. Now I saw everything up close, even noting details. Gotta admit, the Elite Circle's prints had top-tier hardware. Prime for viewing, playing, eye-candy colors, fresh set, the whole package. I was thrilled, but Xavier seemed unhappy, lips tight like he was enduring something. When I called it super pink and gorgeous, he slammed the door and left. The bang jolted my conscience. I felt I'd gone too far with him. Tricked by a fake pure tea girl like Stella, he was already pitiful, and I'd conned his body, making him pay and expose himself. Reflecting deeply for 15 seconds at home, I got his message to come over. I'd just finished looking at him and secretly clenched my thighs. Now I didn't want to move. Before I could type no, he blasted 5 100 grand transfers. I jumped up, racing to his place. Checking en route, I saw Stella had posted announcing a new boyfriend with their pic. Sure enough, at his villa, a sprawling luxury estate with Italian gardens and a private pool. Xavier sat by the garden pond with 2 glasses of wine on a low table. I walked over, hating to see him drown sorrows in booze. What good was that? To win her, he needed strategy. He glanced at me, quickly looking away, awkwardly mentioning he'd napped and dreamed of her. That pissed me off more. I sat on his lap again, arms around his neck, snapped a cheek-to-cheek intimate pic, then posted it on socials from her account, visible only to Stella. As he opened his mouth, I shushed him, betting 60 seconds till she messaged. Before finishing, her text popped asking if he was busy. Xavier looked surprised. I grinned smugly, asking if he was excited. His face stayed neutral. I figured he was pretending, but no way he wasn't thrilled his white moonlight reached out. I didn't let him reply. Straight guys can't handle T-girls. Mimicking his usual tone, I responded he was out. She noted his rare post, asking if his girlfriend posted it, saying it was nice and she felt insecure, envious. Whoa, masterful moves, worthy of Xavier's obsession. Standing beside me, he stared at my face intently. I snapped for him to check her replies instead. He dropped his gaze. Thinking, I replied she didn't like him, so why care about his girlfriend? She protested, saying he knew she felt different about him. We're different, she said everywhere. Her current guy was just more mature, but inferior otherwise. I typed and deleted repeatedly, creating typing illusion to draw her out. It worked. She said she had yoga class, but she'd stay healthy and fit for him, explaining everything when back home. Damn top-tier player. I admired it. Asking Xavier how her words made him feel, he frowned, questioning why her yoga mattered to him. I explained she meant she was trying for him. He said he didn't like yoga. Asking if they chatted much before, he said rarely. Scrolling up, yeah, just a few lines. He couldn't keep up with her. Straight guy versus T-girl, no chance. Analyzing chats and her current gym rat boyfriend, I concluded of her exes, 89% were gym types, 6.318% flower players. He had the size borderline illegal big, but lacked skills and variety. Right, how many women had he slept with? To assess his technique, that question darkened his face. He glared fiercely, asking if I was an expert. He could have countered how many I'd had. I couldn't admit 0. What if he thought me unprofessional and fired me? I coughed, saying not many, like 5. His face blackened more, standing abruptly, rattling the table. Startled, I asked what. Maybe he thought 5 too few, inexperienced. He iced out, saying nothing. Oh, and he'd had double 10. I blurted impossible, licking my lips, noting how he'd reacted to my lick like he was about to burst, seemed novice. Suddenly, he leaned down, scooping me up by the waist. Before reacting, he held me close. Shocked, I looked up. He dipped, kissing me hard. I pushed instinctively. He caught my hands, pinning me to the wall, tongues tangling wildly, deep and heavy. I nearly cried from the intensity, dizzy, heart pounding. Whimpering, I heard him pant by my ear, asking if his kiss felt better than my 5 exes. Gassed up, I said no, worst kisser. Probably 3-second bed skills too. Proved men can't be provoked. He hoisted me bridal style. I twisted like a carp, but his arms were iron, carrying me effortlessly to the 3rd floor, tossing me on his bed. I rolled, trying to crawl away. He grabbed my ankle, yanking back. Jeans pulled to knees. I realized he was serious, panicking and pressing his chest, saying, "Wait, Xavier, what was this?" He yanked off his tee single-handed, revealing sculpted pale chest, dog-like abs, perfect hips. In that moment, 4 words flashed: ultimate male specimen. Missing this, I'd never find equal. swallowing lust-drowned reason. As he leaned to kiss again, I used last clarity to yell this cost extra. At first, it hurt. Xavier didn't seem like he did 10, clumsy, forehead sweaty, messing up often. I raged it wasn't 15, more like his 10 fingers. He snapped back it wasn't 5 for me, probably just watched. I bit him, he kissed back. We wrestled fiercely on the bed. I lost, pinned and whimpering for mercy. In the shaking haze, I passed out and woke, forgetting how I fell asleep, just recalling bite marks all over his shoulders. But he wasn't mad. When I cried, he stroked my face, cooing gently. I figured it was my face resembling Stella that drew such indulgence. Else how'd he have endless stamina till morning? From then on, Xavier and I started cohabiting in his New York penthouse, with views of the skyline, private elevator, and a red room tucked away for his dominant moods. But I wasn't dumb. We signed a contract. He gifted me 2 prime storefronts in bustling areas, renting for over 300 grand monthly. In return, I trained him on dating women, pleasing them, avoiding straight guy blunders. Plus, coaching his bedroom variety, rating daily performance. Early on, I gave C's. He sulked with that cold expression, asking where he failed. Too long, I said earnestly, need balance. Women are soft, I'd get raw, so would his Stella. He stayed frosty but improved that night. Ratings climbed A after a month, S after 2. By the 3rd, I marveled at practice making perfect, life's valuable lesson. I don't know what triggered him. He was massaging my legs, then face chilled. Anna, am I just your practice dummy? Nonsense, don't belittle yourself. I glared. He was my big ATM. Before finishing, he pounced, tickling till I admitted his importance. White moonlight stand in addiction, huh? Childish. But honestly, I was childish too. Cohabiting with Xavier was fun. Parents divorced young, remarried. Neither wanted me as baggage. I stayed with Aunt till junior high when Uncle tried something creepy, making Aunt resent me. Moved out sophomore year, alone since. Never had home. No one asking when I'd be back. What for dinner? Scolding thin clothes. Now Xavier handled all cooking gourmet meals in his luxury kitchen, enforcing early bedtimes, workouts in his private gym, teaching English and German, celebrating every holiday with piles of gifts from Cartier and Van Cleef. I'd find new ways to praise him as the perfect boyfriend. He ate up the flattery, lips curving secretly. His smile was killer, like romance novel heroes, back then presidents, now heirs. But unchanging, they all had white moonlights. Finally, his returned, claiming what was hers. Not malice. Stella posted on return day her Prince Charming. She'd ride herself. Pic of him at airport in green outfit embroidered with XK initials. Too obvious. I forwarded to Xavier, asking if the clothes looked good. He replied instantly, I look good in anything. What for dinner? Chef spying. Busy yesterday, tonight wanna do it. Furious, I told him look closely. Who's the woman in that? No reply, but typing flickered endlessly. Oh, I got it. He was using my trick, forcing me to speak first. His white moonlight back, time for stand-in Anna to exit. Thinking, I typed Mr. Knight, your goddess Stella's home. You've prepped so long, you'll win her heart. Thanks for 4 months, 19 days employment and care. I had the maid pack my stuff, sent same city. Wish she snagged your white moonlight soon. Charge on. Reviewed, sent. He's still typing. What the hell? Maybe months cohabiting, seen together by classmates. He didn't want slag rep. Can't let that happen. He'd been generous. I paid a male friend. Posted us announcing relationship. Classmates congratulated. Even Stella liked. But Xavier silent, no more typing. I tested with our intimate pic Mr. Knight. I'm in love. Bless you and Stella hot romance soon. 10 minutes later, discovered he'd blocked me. That night, classmates said Stella's return caused buzz. At a party, she invited Xavier to dance. Hearing it, I felt oddly sad but mostly relieved. He'd succeed, worth all his money, effort, and body given to me. A week later, I stopped thinking of him, applying for study abroad. Decent grades despite jobs, approved smoothly. First month overseas, lonely, nights recalling Xavier. Sneaked Stella's socials. No couple pics, no announcement. Not going well. Impossible. He was tuned perfect. Who'd reject such prime man? Side-asking classmate Stella faked a fall that day, all delicate and jade-like, expecting Xavier to carry her. Everyone thought they'd couple up. But he sneered coldly, "Don't pretend. Women with that face can't be so weak. UT bitch." Stella looked shocked, ran crying. Hearing that enraged me, like my taught student punching the proctor at finals. Raged till midnight, stomach twisted, acute gastritis. Xavier had spoiled me. Foreign food was gross, my cooking lazy. Wrapped up, I staggered downstairs for ER. Ambulance too pricey. Clutching gut, scanning, ended up roadside puking. Suddenly, a tall shadow loomed. Looking up Xavier's handsome face. Thought abroad sucks, hallucinations heavy. Till he scooped me bridal style, I knew real. Billionaire style, he chartered a private jet back, but first booked VIP ward for 4 drip. I dozed hazy, waking midnight, he propped face by bed. Stirring, he woke still hurt? He felt my forehead, called Doc. Finally all good, don't fear. Finish this bottle, we go home. I wanted him gone if Stella found out bad. But selfishly silent, dragging it. Wanted less pathetic. Felt awful, mood down. Silent ride in his Maybach to my rental. At door thanks, won't invite in, go busy. His face blackened. Peering inside blankly, your boyfriend? She's mine. Every breath she takes belongs to me. In that penthouse moment, the possessive husband vibe hit hard, his obsessive alpha male side flaring with jealousy and revenge in his eyes. The dark romance unfolded from there, our marriage of convenience turning into something deeper. Enemies to lovers with an age gap that only fueled the grumpy sunshine dynamic. Touch her and die became his mantra, whispered during punishments in the red room, where he'd use red ropes and belts in dominant plays, tearing clothes and heated moments of submission. We'd have wall pins in the luxury bathroom, steamy sessions hinting at car shakes in his fleet of exotic cars, all while living the luxury lifestyle. Private jets to Italian estates, yacht parties, endless Cartier jewels. High sweet times mixed with high abuse. His jealousy over my boyfriend led to forced marriage vibes, him claiming "you're mine, baby girl," as he ruined me in the best ways, calling me little wife and good girl during obsessive possessions. Hints of pregnancy loomed, the air he craved, blending revenge on Stella with our passionate entanglements. Mine to ruin, he'd growl, in those intense, YouTube-safe scenes of dominance and submission. Eventually, the obsessive alpha male billionaire CEO, mafia boss undertones and all, made it clear no more stand-ins. I was his forever, in the penthouse or aboard the yacht, pregnant with his heir, living out the ultimate dark romance. She's mine. Every inch of her belongs to me, and I'll punish anyone who thinks otherwise. The story wrapped with us in eternal luxury, his possessive hold unbreakable. She's mine. No one else gets to touch what's forever claimed. And so, the enemies to lovers' tale sealed in forced marriage bliss, with jealousy fading into obsessive love.